This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Friday, June the 14th, 2024. It is Flag Day. So glad you could join us. Coming up a little later on in the program, we'll talk with Ag Secretary Mike Naig about upcoming Horticulture Week. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day, and it's time to talk with Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. And I know the grains, Curt, have been on a bumpy ride today. How did they end up this Friday?
Well, we finished defensive again on our Friday. We saw corn down anywhere from 7 to 10 cents a bushel late in the session. Soybeans down 8 to 10 cents. So kind of gave up a little bit of the ump we had here as we move through the week. Weather-wise, put a little bit more moisture in the forecast next week. Still going to be warm, but we're seeing the moisture kind of be hit and miss for the most part. Locally, we came up with anywhere from a half to 1 inch here Thursday evening. That was welcome, but it wasn't, very far away. They only had a tenth or two. So weather continues to be the main focus. Monday afternoon crop conditions report expected to be down 2-3% out of that good to excellent category. As we look at that drought monitor, it's starting to show a little light yellow in some areas. So it keeps up, and we'll see that expand over time. But the big thing on the weather, I don't think we're seeing the trade follow the wind evaporation. This wind's really played havoc in some areas. If that wind continues to remain strong, we'll see maybe the deterioration be a little bit more rapid than what they thought. The other thing on the weather, the Mexican drought continues. When you look at the drought monitor, you only see a map of the U.S. So you got to look at a North American drought monitor, and you'll see that Mexico continues to be dark red. And that should continue to have Mexico be a good buyer of our agricultural products, as they might continue to be on the downslide on production in that region. Here in the U.S., we saw some enthusiasm going in towards the end of the week. The cash bids firmed. Commercial guys seem to have a little fear. Here in Decatur, Illinois, we saw they pay as much as 25 over for corn. In some western areas there, they're paying as much as 50 cents over to try to shake some corn loose. So it'll be interesting to see how much corn is freed up here. And also, as we move towards the end of the month, that quarterly grain stocks report will give us an idea of where some of these inventories are located. Monthly supply demand reports out of the way, so we'll have those other reports at the end of the month. Continue to watch China. China's been buying some old crop beans, and you have to wonder if they're a little bit concerned about the quality of those beans coming out of Brazil. They're buying beans here late in the marketing year for them. They need to be buying some new crop beans. And hopefully they'll start that process and come in here on the price break and be buyers of 1 to 2, 3 million metric tons of beans every day. So we'll watch that Chinese buying next week. Next week, Monday, we'll have the NOPA crush report. It's expected to be fairly strong. They're looking for the crush on beans to be 177 million bushels. Beans oil stocks, 1.76 billion pounds. So crushing plants are back up and running after taking a little downtime. We'll see what happens there. Wheat harvest is taking place, soft red winter wheat. Yields are good, except you get that Ohio River Valley. They're 80 bushels, about the best they're doing. 54-pound test weight. A little disappointing there, but elsewhere, 100-plus bushel soft red winter wheat. On the weekly chart, we saw corn, July up 1 1/4. December up 3 cents, so it did hang in there barely. The December futures had a daily price reversal down here on Friday, so Friday's high will be a little bit of resistance. Beans finished mixed for the week. July beans up 0.5 cent. The November beans down 8 cents on the weekly chart. There's going to be some buy stops at Thursday's highs. So if you're a technician, watch Thursday's highs there. See if we pop that out. It's ways up there. Wheat down 14 cents a bushel in Chicago. For the most part, beans need to hold this week's lows. And corn, we're in a position here where, pullbacks or do some retracements should find some support. But the big thing is weather.
All right, well, we do come to expect that this time of year. And now switching gears over to livestock, we saw cattle really having a strong day, and it kind of looked like they were taking hogs along for the ride. Has that been the case, or what did we see there today?
Oh, boy, we saw some giddy up in the fat and feeder market right away. We gapped higher. We were firm out of the chute. Pork hogs, just the opposite. We ratted around, went down, cleaned out the sell stops, made some new lows. We were sharply higher. We came roaring back through the trading session and held in there and closed fairly good for some price reversals to the upside. Basically, we saw the news come out midday here that fat market traded as much as $3 higher, some 197 trade there in Nebraska. We saw box beef sideways all week. Box beef popped up $1.50 here over the noon hour. Cutouts on the lean index. Pork was sideways here, and it popped up over $3. So I think we saw some last minute buying feature here. Hopefully replace some supplies of good disappearance. That was the concern, is cookout with these hot temperatures, cookout featuring, and also that wet weather in Florida might slow down even some restaurant demand, but hopefully we got that out of the way. Loins 99 cents, bellies 84, belly side of the equation 123 a pound. So products hanging in there. Thing on the livestock, you might want to take a look at meal and getting some meal booked in case that market gets a little dicey here as we move into the last part of summer.
All right. Well, if folks want to pick your brains further there at agmarket.net, what's the best way for them to find you guys?
1-800-779-1515 or agmarket.net. Click on Intel.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Curt, and we'll talk to you again next week.
You bet. Take care.
And that again was Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and take a look at the closing numbers on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network market screen.
At the close, July corn was down 8.5 at $4.50 even. Soybeans down 9 3/4 at $11.79 3/4. Soy meal up a dime at $3.6840. Soy oil down 18 cents at $43.68. Chicago wheat down 7 1/4 at $6.12 3/4. Kansas wheat down 9 1/4 at $6.27 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat down 11 1/2 at $6.55 1/2, and oats down 1/2 cent at $3.28 even. On the Merc, live cattle up $2 at $186.82. Feeder cattle up the limit $4.50 at $261.97. Lean hogs jumped up 87 cents at $93.65. Pork cutouts up a nickel at $103.50. And Class 3 milk down a nickel at $19.84.
That was a check of the closing market recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we'll talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, next week is Horticulture Week, and horticulture doesn't always seem to get the accolades that the big cash crops do, but it is a very important part of the ag industry in Iowa. Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig talks about the contributions of places that grow fruits and vegetables and pumpkins, Christmas trees, and all kinds of flowers and whatever have you. And we talk about their importance and how we're honoring them this next week. And of course, another thing we want to talk about, and I saw this in some releases, next week we got something to celebrate. And of course, we don't always think about that with agriculture, but it is very much a part of it. And that's Horticulture Week is next week. Tell us a little bit about how you observe it there at Idal's.
Well, we're really excited about this. You're right. We get used to talking about Dairy Month and Beef Month, and those are wonderful things, and we are proud of industries. But we also, just through our efforts around promoting Choose Iowa, which is our branded program for Iowa grown, Iowa made, Iowa raised products, In touring and visiting, I don't mind telling you, I visited my good friend Mike Gooder with Plant Peddler up in Cresco. Great folks, growing flowers, nursery there. They're a good example of where people don't always think about Iowa as being a place where we're growing begonias and things like that. In fact, globally known for it. And we want to really highlight that and showcase that. So we know that consumers are wanting to shop local for food, so fruits and vegetables and those types of things. But how enjoyable is it this time of year, especially I think of Mother's Day in particular, Memorial Day, when we're decoration day, when we're decorating gravestones with flowers. A lot of folks going to their local greenhouse, going and getting a Christmas tree at a local Iowa Christmas tree farm in the winter. These are all part of our horticulture industry in the state of Iowa, and actually a significant economic contributor to the state. And a lot of great family businesses across the state that are known, again, just in Iowa, but also regionally and even nationally for the work that they do. So we are proud to be able to highlight and celebrate Horticulture Week. So we'll be doing some visits. I believe the governor is going to put pen to paper and declare it officially to be through proclamation Horticulture Week, and we appreciate her attention to this. But we're excited to really promote and brag about our horticulture industry and sector in the state of Iowa.
And maybe for those who aren't aware of it, can you describe a little bit about what kind of support or programs are available with IDALs to help these kind of growers?
Well, a lot of this is, especially around Choose Iowa, is about connecting consumers, Iowa consumers, with all the different farms and farm stands and businesses and farmers markets, and just being able to highlight and go to chooseiowa.com and you can search for if you're looking for strawberries, you're looking for a U-pick orchard, a pumpkin patch in the fall, lots of farm to table experiences that'll be throughout the year. Really what we're trying to do is just connect the dots for folks to know what's out there, what the opportunities are. These are fun family activities, or a group of friends getting together and dining maybe under the stars in a pasture somewhere, but experiencing that local food and our horticulture industry. We're really excited about the creativity that we see, everything from cut flowers to trees to fruits and vegetables and everything in between. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I'm sure you're probably like me and hit a few of those You Pick 'em strawberry sites or raspberry places too, and get a few of those, because those are always a tasty snack this time of year.
Well, I think I have a little bit of a sweet tooth, and so I particularly love strawberry season, because the variety of pies that can be created around strawberries, you pick strawberry, very, very exciting to me. So no, I actually, it's one of the key things that we're talking a lot about when it comes to Choose Iowa and farm to table and locally sourced foods, is that there's a seasonality to it, right? We always say there is nothing better than Iowa sweet corn when it's in its prime, right? Well, the same could be said of strawberries when they're in their prime. The same could be said, I may get in trouble here, but asparagus, I love asparagus, fresh asparagus, but when it's in its prime, when it's ready, when it's in season, and you can apply that all the way across to apples and everything else. I think that's what really, one of the key things we're really driving is understanding and appreciating and enjoying the seasonality of what's available at different times of year and experiencing it in its prime. We're blessed that you can find strawberries on the grocery store shelf year round, and that's a good thing for us as consumers. But boy, there's nothing better than picking it fresh and consuming it right there. That's a lot of fun.
And see, you had to go and bring asparagus into this, I knew you would, but for those that don't know, and it's pretty widely known, I'm not an asparagus fan, but I will be, making a lot of rhubarb cake this weekend, so I'll be using a lot of that fruit, which has had a great year as well.
I have a theory about rhubarb, by the way, that anything that has rhubarb in it is going to be good, because you have to put so much sugar with it to get it to taste good that it's bound to be excellent. So I can only imagine how good that cake is.
That is true. Maybe I'll try to save you a piece if my son allows me to. So, well, Secretary, thank you so much for the update this week, and look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thanks for letting me laugh a little bit this morning. We sometimes focus on we have to focus on the challenges, right? And we've had headwinds this spring, to be sure, planting and high path. but sometimes it's okay to have fun too. And I think talking about and experiencing what Iowa has to offer, and especially as we head into summer, it can be a great, great thing. So enjoy getting out and about across the state this summer.
That again was Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig. And that brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and on our YouTube channel. While you're there, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified each time we put out a new video product. Also, don't forget about the free 3 times daily market podcast with analysis sent free of charge right to your mobile device through Google, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, and Podbean. And you can find it online at iowaagnet.com. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Riley Smith, Quentin Slater, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.